One, two, check, one, two. One, two, check, one, two.
Thank you very, very much for being here. Thank you for having made a difference in Mitchell's life. And so when you walked in the door, there's a guest book. If you haven't signed that, please do, because we want to remember everybody who's here today. I hope you found the refreshments in the back. On the tables are some papers. Please write down any stories that you remember about Mitch, any jokes that he told you, because I know he did that a lot. If you want to write a letter to him, that would be fine. On the table in front is a wooden box with his name on it, and put those stories inside of there. If it gets full, let us know. We have bags to put those in. We miss him a lot. And so I know I keep asking for memories and for stories and for photos, but at this point we are desperate to remember every single instant of our baby's life. That's why I'm asking. Up on the front tables we have a bunch of albums. I just brought the blue ones. There are lots more at home, but please feel free to look at them. At 2 o'clock, we're planning to do a toast to Mitch. And rather than doing a toast with a drink, we're going to do a toast with macaroni and cheese. Because you guys know Mitch loved food. Mac and cheese was always his favorite. Over in the back, Gil has been fabulous and put together a video of all of the breakdance shows that we could of Mitch performing. So I know a lot of you didn't know what a great breakdancer Mitchie is, but it's over there. And I say is because he still is. In fact, he was breakdancing on my ceiling just night before last. Also, over on the table, there are some buttons. My friend Judy, who cannot be here today, made them for us. There are also some blown glass hearts, and my cousin Ryan, right here, made them for us. They're kind of like touchstones. They feel really special and warm, just like Mitch, so please feel free to take those. I want to thank everybody for helping put this together. Travis and Tara and Astrid and Mike, you guys kind of just were behind the scenes and were so strong and supportive. I want to thank all of the emergency personnel that responded so quickly and so efficiently to Mitch's accident. To the ambulance and the helicopters, the CHP, the firefighters, thank you guys all so very much. Alvina is here from Sutter Roseville. She was one of Mitch's nurses at the neurotrauma ICU center. And if you guys don't know the nurses there, they are angels. So I want to tell you guys all thank you very, very, very much. We're going to have the macaroni and cheese catered, so I want to tell Sean from Warehouse Deli thank you. Shannon Martin Ibarando has done amazing amounts of work to get this all put together, so thank you, thank you, thank you. Gil from Touchdown Productions has videotaping. We have a photographer from Picture Perfect, so thank you for that. Mostly, I want to thank my family. Without my sisters, this would not have happened. And my brothers-in-law and my nephews and my precious niece. My parents have been more supportive than you guys know, and they are just there holding us up. My daughter has more strength than I could ever imagine. She is magical, and she is wonderful, and she's also fragile, so when you guys see her, please hug her, not just me, okay? And my husband, I love you, Tom. And I could not walk on this impossible path without you. football team, you guys rock. And all of you from Charter, you guys were Mitchie's first family. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And all of his friends from his whole life who are here know that Mitchie is still here and he still loves all of us. And just remember, this is all about love. Okay, that's all I can say right now. Oh yes, thank you, Chrissy. We found some blue candles because we want you always to have some blue light in your life. Please take those when you go. And we also have set it up so those of you who just really don't feel like emailing or you don't really feel like writing, you can come up and tell stories. I would really, really love that. So if you guys have a story or a memory or a joke or something funny that Mitch did, please come up. I don't want to say anything inappropriate to anybody, so if this is something that you in your faith don't believe in, just disregard this part, but I believe very, very strongly that Mitchie is still here. I feel him, I hear him, I see him all the time. And so if you have a story about that, please share that as well. And I'm going to tell one story because it's totally a Mitch story. In the beginning, I was standing out in our orchard, and the mulberry tree is up onto the top, closest to the driveway, and the apple trees are down the hill. And I was standing there, and this big honkin' apple came flying out of the mulberry tree and landed right at my feet. I thought, okay, I've lost it. I think we need to find some help, because where would this apple have come from? But I didn't tell anybody for a couple days because I was really kind of worried about my sanity. So a couple days later, Chrissy and I were going for a walk out there. And lo and behold, here came a great big old giant green apple and almost hit us. And she goes, I don't think that's possible. This is the mulberry tree, not the apple tree. But we kind of went with it and said, oh yeah, it's probably Mitch. He's laughing because he got our shoes all dirty. So a few days after that, I was out there by myself again. And this time it was another red apple. It came flying down and it almost hit me. And I looked up and there was a big old gray squirrel. And he looked down at me just with that, bless you, with that wonderful, wonderful smile that Mitch always did, and just laughed at me. And so I know that that was Mitch throwing apples at me. And the apples are now gone, but in the last 3 days, I've found 2 more apples that have just come right on down. So it's kind of a silly story, but you know, Mitch does silly stuff. So if you have anything, please, please, please share. And thank you all again so very much for being here.
Hey everybody! For those of you who don't know, I'm Mitch's sister Joylyn, and I wanted to sincerely thank you all for all of the messages and the support that I've gotten from each and every one of you, because without your love, I wouldn't be able to be standing here today. And I want to give a special thanks to Sasha and Karina and my best friend Sydney, who can't be here right now. And I think that it's important to take from this that how wide Mitch's love was, and look at how many people it touched. I mean, some of the messages that I got were from people who lived in Japan or people who lived in New York who had never even met Mitch, and his story had touched them. And I think that that's something really important that we need to remember, just to show your love. And you know, I mean, I think we're all a little bit crazy right now, but that's natural, right? And so I talk to Mitch on a regular basis, like when I'm driving or, you know, just walking around. And I think I have to share this guy with you guys, and it sounds terrible, but so I commute 2 hours to my college because I moved home. And so, you know, I mean, 2 hours is a long time to drive. It would just kind of flow with traffic after a while, right? After driving 8 hours a week, you kind of just get used to it, and you're like, get in the car and you kind of just drive, you know, and you're flowing with traffic. And so I was on my way home. It was about midnight from my night class, And, I was cruising along, and there's that part in 80 where it changes from 55 to 65. So I was speeding up. I was probably going like 58 into 55, and then this guy got in my butt, so I was like going a little bit faster, and the lights go on, right? So I get pulled over, and I was like, he's like, do you know why I pulled you over? That whole spiel. And then I got back in the car, and I was like, well, I didn't get back in the car. He went around the back, and I was sitting there. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? My brother just got in a car accident. This looks so bad, like I should be extra careful. And so he came back, and he's like, so you were speeding a little bit, but just try to take it down. I won't give you a ticket. And so then I got on my way, and I got in my car, and I was like going 4 miles under the speed limit the whole way home. And and so I got home, and I was like, that was sort of odd. I never actually got pulled over before, and it was kind of scary, and it makes you nervous and stuff. So then a couple weeks later, I was on 80.
Actually, it was 1 week, honey.
Oh, it was the next Monday after that. I was on 80, and I was driving, and all 3 lines were going like 80 miles an hour. So I was like, okay, I'm just flowing. Little behold, I go to change my radio, and I look up, and wow, 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 wow. And I'm like, oh my God, like, why do I have to get pulled over again, like in a week? And so I get pulled over, and the guy was totally rude, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just not gonna say anything. So I was like, I'm sorry, and I handed him my license, and he comes back, and he's like, do you know how dangerous this is? And I'm like, I was just flowing the traffic, man. I don't know what you want me to do. And so I got home, and I was reflecting on it. I was like, well, I got pulled over twice. This is probably Mitch. He's just nagging at me because he wants me to be safe, right? And so I talked to him about it. I was like, thanks for the ticket, Mitch. That's awesome. And I don't know if anybody else, I'm sure some of you have gotten tickets before, but you have to wait like a month before you get your ticket in the mail to know how much it is. And so I finally got my ticket this last week. Yeah, Mitch really got me good. And I also wanted to say, no matter what your story is, if it's something little, if it's something embarrassing, if it's, I know he made that noise, the yeah, get her, whatever that, I don't know if the football team knows that. Please just share those. And if anybody needs somebody to talk to, I talk about Mitch every single day because I need him to be a part of my life. So if there's anybody who's coping and is like, oh, well, who knows Mitch better than a sister? I was with him through all of the boring moments, and, we were by each other's side no matter what, and he still is. And so I just wanted to let you guys know, you feel free to reach out to me. I will talk about him with anybody and everybody, and thank you all for coming.
Hi, my name is Addison King, Mitch's cousin. Mitch called me Lucy.
I'm not standing up there. Oh, I was ready for a second. Okay. To the well-organized mind, death is but the next adventure. Albus Dumbledore. That one's for you, Mitch. My name is Natalie. I'm Mitch's Aunt Nat. All of the kids in the family call me Evil Aunt Nat. I've learned so many things in the last 3 months, and so I'm going to share with you my present instead of a memory. In the last 3 months, I've learned what real heartbreak is. I've learned how absolutely strong our family is, and how amazing our community is. Someone questioned me recently if all these people that have come forward even knew Mitch or our family, and the answer is no. Many of them have never met any of us, and many of them still haven't. Mitch made friends even in death. Isn't that amazing? I just think it's so cool. Everybody in this room had the pleasure of having Mitch touch their lives in some way. And for those who never got to know him in life, got to see how absolutely amazing he was. They got to see what family means. They got to see the strength in his mom and his dad and his sister, and what real love and real relationships can deliver. Because I think these guys have done so amazing in the days and the weeks and the months after this, that I just kind of sit back and I'm like, oh my gosh, how strong and amazing this kid must have been, because look at what he has left us. This tragedy has changed people. I've seen it. I've had people who have never known Mitch come up to me and ask about organ donation. My coworkers who don't know any of my family have told me how their families sit around the dinner table and talk about organ donation. Many of them have already made the trip to DMV to change their status on their driver's license. It's changed me too. As I drive the last couple months, and especially the days and the week after Mitch's death, I look around at other people on the freeway and I'm thinking, how can they not know what I am going through? You know, everybody is just going about their lives, and how can they just continue on with their lives and not have a clue that I have been up sobbing for 4 days straight, that I worry about my sister every second of the day? You know, how can these people not know that? And so in the days following that, it's made me realize, you know what, every single person on this road is also battling something in their lives. They are fighting for their life, or they're mourning a loss, or they're fighting hunger, or some kind of financial hardship. You know, I think about the homeless and the soldiers and the elderly in homes that don't have any visitors. Mitch did this. Mitchell has made me want to be a better person. He's made people really go home and enjoy their families. And I know for a fact, because people have told me, you know what, I hug my kid every day. The teenager that wouldn't talk to me, I make them come hug me every day, and I tell them I love them before they drive out of that driveway. I'm sorry. So this is something that Mitch has done for me, and it's something that Mitch has done for you. So I just think that I know in my heart that Mitch is okay, and I know that he is just now beginning his next adventure. So I love you guys.
I love you too.
Where did my little girl go? You want to try again, sweetheart? Okay. All right, yeah?
Hey, my name is Addison King. Mitch's cousin. Mitch calls me Lucy. Mitch helped me the day I was born. Things that remind me. Things that remind me of Mitch are water balloons, the moon, and really big bright stars. Mitch would always come over and play with me, even when my brothers were home. He and I would play video games in his room too. He let me play the games my mom would never let me play.
Good job, Lucy.
Whenever Mitch came over, he would always say, "Hey Lucy, speak Spanish to me." So I'm going to say the rest of this in Spanish for him. Yo puedo decir memoria favorito de Mitch. Estaba un pocos meses en julio. Yo tenía una amiga en mi casa para jugar. Mitch y mi otra primo Bodie venga en la carro de mi abuelo. Estaba muy caliente afuera y mi mamá le compraste nosotros un pocos paquetes de agua globos. Mitch y yo decidió a poner un pequeño azul bola llamado Orbi adentro en una agua pelota. Mi amigo Lily Bodie puede agarrar en la ice chest molestando para agarrar la especial agua pelota para agarrar un regalo. Convertido en una grande agua globolucha. For those who do not speak Spanish, I'll translate this for you. I'll tell you about my favorite memory of Mitch. It was a few months ago in July. I had a friend over to play. Mitch and my other cousin Bodie came over in Papa's mule. It was hot outside and my mom had just bought us a few packs of water balloons. Mitch and I decided to hide a little blue ball called an Orby inside one of the water balloons. My friend Lily and Bodie got to reach in the ice chest trying to find the special balloon for a prize. This turned into a big water balloon fight. We were all laughing and everyone got soaking wet.
Good job. Okay, I knew I would forget something. We have kept Mitch's phone on until now, but we are going to turn his phone off. And I know that a lot of you have still been texting him. It is important for you and for him to keep writing to him. So you can send your writings to breakdance.mitch68@gmail.com. It's on the bottom of your little paper. And please do that because I know he hears everything that you guys write. The other thing I want to say is that Caleb Patterson and Savannah and Emma have organized the first annual 5K Paint the Town Blue for Mitch on March 6th. This will be the first one, and we're hoping that we will continue it every year. So please mark your calendars now. As soon as the website is up and functioning, we will get more information to you so that you guys can register and come. But please, please, please remember about the 5K because I think that's going to be a really cool thing. Anything else? Okay.
Okay, so everybody who wants to say something about Mitch, you can just work your way up here. And, don't be afraid. We all love Mitch. It's okay.
Yeah, and I thought that we'd pass the microphone around as well.
Yeah,
And
that
so we
sounds
can
cool.
just start over here with the men in blue. And if you don't want to say something, it's perfectly okay, like they said, and just pass the mic on. But we'll just work around the room, and then everyone will get an opportunity.
Hi, I'm Ryan Elkins. I got to know Mitch. Obviously, he was on my team, but he was the first weight group guys that I had that was like younger than me. So he was the junior, and then we had a sophomore. But anyway, it was just a pleasure getting to know him and make him stronger and push him hard. And I feel love from him still, and it was just an honor getting to know your son.
When Mitch came into my office right after the last season, he came in and he had questions whether or not he was going to play. And I asked him why, because he was one of our hardest workers in the off season, so it was kind of a shock. And he had told me that he did not want football to interfere with his breakdancing. I thought he was kidding at first, so I laughed and I tried to talk him into it. But watch him do his thing, I can see where the passion was. And I'm glad that he made the decision to stay and to be with part of our team. In his passing, he affected our team more than anything that I've ever seen. He brought them closer together. We had a rough season, and throughout the whole thing, his love for our kids and our love for him kept us together.
Hi, so my name's Josh. So when one of my favorite memories of Mitch, when I first told the team that I was having a daughter, Mitch would like joked about it a lot. He was always saying like when I was sad, he would just always come up to be like, "What's up, Dad?" And he was just always like messing around and call me Dad. And then after he passed away, I went on Facebook and I saw a picture, and a lot of you guys probably saw this picture. It was like, a lot of you don't know, but there's most likely a ghost breakdancing behind you. And I felt Mitch. I felt him, like he was there, and I knew he was dancing. And I'm just like, just because you're not physically here, you're still with us. And I think I speak for the entire team. Like, he was probably the funniest guy on the team. And that motto that Jorlyn was talking about, can I get a higher? That was it.
I only know Mitch through my daughter. And I texted Monica the other day because a week after he passed, my daughter and I were in a bad car accident right at Atlantic, where you could see the hotel, which beyond that was the hospital where he was. My airbags didn't deploy. We walked away, nothing was wrong with us. I only know because it was Mitch there with us and my mom. So he is with us in so many ways, in so many stories, in our hearts, and just in everyday life. So he was a good kid. I got to know him through my kid, and he was just an outstanding, outstanding young man. Someone to be very proud of.
Okay, my name is Cynthia. I'm not going to stand because I really do hate crowds. But anyway, I can't remember a time in my life that I didn't have part of the Addams family in my life. And then I found out there were sisters. And then there were cousins, and then there were more cousins. So finally able to have Mitch in my 7th and 8th grade class. And just what a great kid he is, what a great family he comes from. So it's no wonder he was fabulous. One of my students this year is a junior minor, and so he was struggling with Mitch's death. And I just walked up to him and I said, Mitch was the perfect teenager. He looked at me like I was crazy. And I said he was passionate. He had so many passions: football, breakdance, family, food, girls. And so that part about he just living life to the fullest, and that he had a purpose, that he knew how to live a good life even as a young man, that he was certainly playful, whether he was the instigator of shenanigans or the partaker of shenanigans. He certainly was playful. And then I continued after the look of, you don't know your students at all, to tell him that he was just enough of a pain in the butt for you to realize that he was the perfect teenager. So I miss him dearly. I love your family, and we have lots of memories to keep us going. I love you.
Love you too. Well, I'm Mary, and I was his 4th grade teacher, and I do remember him sitting quietly there trying to do his work, and then there'd be this whole ruckus of everybody sitting around him in stitches, laughing. And I'd try to calm everybody down, but Mitch had a way of keeping him up. And I remember him for that. But we put on a play that year, and Mitch chose to be an old man whose job it was to get everyone else to be wise. And, Mitch would just be Mitch, but when Mitch became the old man, Mitch was like down, bent over, hobbling along, and he was so in character that he had that whole audience in stitches, especially when he sang. And so if Mitch comes to you as a cantankerous old man, he's already practiced. And then another thing I remember with the breakdancing is that at Charter we put on a talent show every year, and we have so many acts where the ballerinas in tutus get up and try to make the hula hoop go around there. Anyhow, it's not that entertaining. It's deadly. It takes hours and hours and hours. But then Mitch would come on, and the breakdancing would come on, and the whole audience would just come alive. He could really get us all going.
My name is Bethany, and I got to know Mitch through my son Dorian. I have to say that Mitch is the perfect combination of courageous, warm-hearted, and generous. Most of the people that know me know that I'm a little bit intimidating, very unpredictable. The conversations that we have at our dinner table are pretty open. So if you've been around me, you know that I can be a little much. So 2 years ago, Dorian was out of town at his dad's house over the summer, and I got this crazy idea that I wanted to drive to this property out in Nevada City and pick up these huge pine rounds. I mean, they were probably about $1.80 each. I wanted to pick them up and take them to my house to put around the fire pit. And I didn't have any brawn because my son was gone. My husband was at work, and so I had my very small second son and my daughter and my mother, and that's a motley crew. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna call Mitch. Bless his heart, he's so sweet. It takes a lot to get in a car with me without your buddy, It's just me and him and my mother. So I drove all the way out to Mitch's house and I picked him up, and bless his heart, he was so sweet. He got in the car, ready, let's do this. I was like, all right, let's go. So we drove all the way out to this property in Nevada City, and we got out of the car, and Mitch knew, he had experience. I'm crazy, and this idea was crazy. He looked at the pine rounds, and he looked at me, and he's like, all right. And mind you, there were 5 other people with us, but it was just me and Mitch hefting these huge pine rounds into the back of my truck. And he was so sweet. We were both a wreck by the time we were done. My mom and my son and my daughter just staring at us because there was nothing that they could even do to help. I mean, the property was on a slope. We had to roll them up the hill to get him to the truck. So on the way home, I'm like trying to pay Mitch. I'm trying to give him cash for helping me out. And he's like, no, are you kidding me? You're crazy. I'm not taking your money. So we get back to the house, and getting him out of the truck was almost a bigger feat. But we pulled it off, and I had to slip the money in his pocket before he got out of the truck, or he wouldn't have taken it. I learned a lot from Mitch. You gear up, you show up, you get it done. He was a great friend to my son, and we learned a lot from him about grace and generosity and warmth and kindness, and
he left his mark on our family for sure. So, we love you, Mitch. I'm gonna sneak back into the back. I'm gonna hide behind my husband. Okay, my name's Tara, and I've known Mitch's mom and dad, and Mitch and his sister since Mitch was really little. But I'm also a nurse in the trauma neuro ICU where Mitch came, and so I don't have a specific story that I want to tell about Mitch, but I just want to say two things. Number one, I've been there for over 11 years, and we get all kinds of different families, and rarely is there a family that touches our unit like Mitch's family, and that says an amazing thing about him. And then I also want to say that to the football team, we get a lot of teenagers in our unit. Teenagers do crazy things, and we deal with their friends. And when the football team came down to the hospital, I've never seen anything like that. And somebody got a picture. We have cameras out in front of the unit, and we got a picture on our screen of all the football players in a circle praying. And I just want you guys to know that your family and the football team and this whole community will be remembered by our unit forever. And there were even people that were in the waiting room. We only have 2 small waiting rooms for our 16-bed ICU, and when Mitch was there, we were full. And and there were people in the waiting rooms that commented that they'd never seen a group of teenagers that were so respectful and so amazing being there for their friend. And so I want to let the football team know that the community as a whole saw you, and they saw how you were, and you did make a difference. So that's what I wanted to say.
My name is Deanna Santana, and my story is a 2-part story. And the first part of my story is Monica asked if you could make sure that those Mitch moments get in the box. And I ask you not to do that just today, but I ask you in 1 year and 2 years and 3 years and 4 years and 7 years, when a memory comes to your mind, to send them to him. The way I became, Natalie talked about Mitch's touching lives that he didn't even know when he was here, and we're one of those families that he is touching. I learned about Mitch's story on Facebook, and I had a text in my pocket. I was just looking at it from Rosie that said, a dear friend of hers just lost her son, and Rosie knew that I lost my son 4.5 years ago, and Scott was also number 68 on his football team, and our stories and so much about the boys are similar, but I've been able to meet with Monica and find out that our boys are together wreaking havoc from the other side to us, so please continue to share those stories. The second part of my story is I actually became an advocate for Sierra Donor Services and work in the field of raising awareness about organ and tissue donation. I knew from Facebook that Mitch had been an organ donor, but I don't work on the clinical side. But I'm here with Torin, who walked with their family through that, and I would like to just say that, we've gotten updates from Mitch's recipients. They're doing well, and Mitch is living on, and it's a bright moment in something that's so tragic. But please, those memories that you have, write them down. They'll look at them today. They won't remember in a year that you wrote them down, so share them again, even if it's the same memory, over and over and over again.
I am a charter family that my son Tevin grew up with Mitch. And I don't have one specific memory of Mitch. I have many, and our boys were naughty. I listen to those charter teachers and I go, I'm so sorry, our boys were naughty. Tevin and Mitch were silly together, let's put it that way. I have some very fond camping memories with Miss Monica, because I don't camp without my hubby. But Monica took care of me and my boy. And I love you, Adam's family. And my heart just is very full of love for you and for Mitch, and I thank you for letting us be part of your special day.
My name's Mike Weaver. I've known Mitch for the last 3 years. I first got to know Mitch first day of his freshman experience in my intro class. And I can remember one of the happiest kids I've ever seen in my life walking into my door. Tank top, because he tended to wear tank tops most of the time. Coined the phrase bro tanks. And black hat, purple bill, said Mitch, embroidered across it. Bangs cut kind of even, and just a smile. And he'd sit in the back of the third row in the fourth desk. I can still see it vividly. And every single day when I'd start class, I'd say, okay, get out your notebooks. But Mitch would get out his lunch. That was Mitch. Mitch was comfortable enough into my room. It was like sitting up into the kitchen table. And he would eventually get his notebook out, but there was a sandwich and then all sorts of things. And it was just another meal sitting for Mitch. It was comfortable enough in my class. So as my story goes, there was another kid in that class that I knew about that came from Union Hill, because my daughters went to Union Hill. His name was Ty Smothers. And Ty Smothers, I don't think he's here today, very energetic, happy-go-lucky kid. And Ty immediately fed off of Mitch. It's like there were two peas in a pod. If you don't know Ty Smothers, Ty goes around, I don't know if he still does, and he goes, hi, I'm Ty. And that was just Ty. So Ty scooted over close to Mitch, and he's like, I'm Ty. And he's like, yeah, Mitch. And he's like, why do you have your name embroidered on here? I'm Ty. So immediately, it was kind of like watching the movie Dumb and Dumber, where you had Lloyd Christmas, and you had Harry for the rest of the year. And they started a very strong bond, good friendship. And eventually, we talked to Mitch after his freshman year to come around out to the football team and trying out and going for it. And he's just been a brother ever since. And I can still remember practical jokes with a lot of you guys and Mitch and Ty. And I remember one day, I think we had practice on a weekend, I don't know exactly when it was, but Mitch slept in. And so we all took one big selfie. And I think it's on Facebook. But, anyway, Mitch was just one of the brothers. He was one of the guys, and he'll live in my heart forever.
I remember when Mitch his sister was babysitting us, and he was out on the lawn, and he found an alligator lizard on the ground, and he posed for my mom to take a picture, and he posed as if he was going to eat the alligator lizard. And he was my neighbor, and he was really sweet and kind, and me and my dad and my siblings would come over, and sometimes we would make peach pies, and we would pick peaches and make pies and we offered them to Mitch, and they would take slices. And one time we came over, and they were all really, really sick, and we really wished that they could have the pie. Okay, I'm done.
My name is Tom DeMonk, and this is my wife, June. We were neighbors of theirs for many years, since Mitch was real little. And June and I have been there about 34 years, I guess. It's the most wanted. They're our family. Monica and Tom and them have just been so sweet to us. And we really miss them from being our neighbors next door. And we know that Mitch is in good hands. And we just don't know what to say except we love them. And they're our family. And so that's all I can say.
We love you, Tom. My name is Christina, and Monica is one of my very best, dearest friends, and love your entire family. And Monica and Mitch with her spent a lot of time with my boys over the last 6 months or so and he, I was always so amazed by how he was with my boys and how the time that he spent with them. He was always, the other day I found a Yahtzee scorecard with Xander and Mitch playing on a team together, and pictures of them at the playground. And I know when I was 15, I wasn't, spending time with my mom and playing with other little kids. And he was just so amazing and just such a good kid. And I see so much of both of my boys in him, and Xander especially. Monica knows that, and I see that all the time. And I also wanted to say, Monica, you had said that at some point that Mitch had said to you that there was something that we needed to know. And you didn't know what that was. And I know that maybe all of us can take something different from that. But I know for me, it's been being so grateful for the time that I have with my boys and having patience with them. And every single time they're frustrating, and they're being crazy. And I hear Mitch telling me that it's okay and that they're good boys, and just that's what that meant to me. And I know you said you didn't know what that did, so that's what it is for me. And just love your entire family. Our family loves yours, and yeah.
I wasn't expecting to talk. Monica moved up here, the Adams family. We were so blessed. They started with us, my daughter Ashlyn and Rosie's daughter, and started at the school together. And my memories one of the fondest memories was we were at Girl Scouts, and so the boys are the exact same age, my son Blake and Mitchie. And the girls would do their Girl Scouts and the boys would play together. And the last thing that I was remembering as I was filling this out is we have a rock on our desk, and it's a bug. It's a painted bug. The girls did bugs, and they painted these rocks. And the boys were out playing in the fields, and they were gathering caterpillars. And they had them all over their arms because, boys and bugs go really well together. And Mitchie had his arms filled with them. And he looked up at me because, we're so very busy, with our kids. And he looked at me and he said, "How long until they turn into a butterfly?" And I honestly don't know the answer. I said a week. And I think I looked at him and I said a week. And he said, "Okay, I'll wait." So they started out, they were 4, and they played basketball together, and they grew up together. And so I can always look at Blakey and Mitchie together. And I just want to say our family, the Yoakum family, just wraps their arms around, and I know this community, we just wrap our arms around the Adams family and everybody else's family,
I just wanted to say one more thing. After living here all these years, living in the Bay Area and different places around the world, Nevada County has got to be one of the most loving places in the whole state of California. All these young people that are here, I look at them and I think, how wonderful it is to see all these wonderful teenagers. They can say what they want about the rest of the world and what's going on, but it's not here in Nevada County. There's nothing but love.
Hi, I'm Mariah. I'm not really sure why this one memory is popping in my head, but I remember 3rd and 4th grade-ish. Mitch and me were not the greatest of friends. Like, we're good friends, but we weren't super close, but yet he'd still let me play with him at recess and stuff. And I remember there was this period of time when he let me treat him like a puppy. He would let me pet him, and he'd walk on all 4s, and he'd roll around, and we'd play pretend. And I had no idea why he would let me do that, but it just shows that he would put up with a lot. And that's just who Mitch is, and I was up for that.
So the football team is very graciously helping us pass out cups of macaroni and cheese. If you guys can hold on to those for a second, because we're going to use those for the toast, okay? Does anybody else have stories?
Hi, we're the Bledsoe family from Oregon, and we are family members of the Jories and the Adams, and they're a huge extended family. We love to see all their pictures of your guys' great feasts on Sundays. It makes us jealous. So my first real experience with Mitch was when T and I had gotten married, and no one would go dancing. So it was her brother that got all the kids to go out onto the dance floor, and next thing you know, it was a giant break dance off. And I can't help but think that Mitch getting out of his comfort zone a little bit and breakdancing, did we not all learn something from that? Not only has it made us better people, stronger family, stronger to my little nieces and nephews that I didn't really pay attention to, but really pay attention to more now. And I just want to say thanks, Mitch, for improving all of our lives.
Okay, so I'm Chris. I'm his cousin, and just proof of like how much he thoroughly loves shenanigans. We have this story that we've never told you because it happened in your backyard, and all three of us got hurt, and it was hilarious. Okay, so we're in the backyard, and Mitch has the dirt board. And my brother has this great idea. He's like, we should try to have a handoff, but with the dirt board. And so Mitch is like, all right. And so he starts off at the top of the hill, and he takes a running start, and he books it down on the dirt board. And halfway down, he changes his mind. He's like, I'm going to throw the football at him and then tackle him. And so, just picturing all this in slow motion, the football flies, hits my brother in the face, and then Mitch, after the football, hits him, knocks the wind out of my brother, and then they just sit there on the ground for 10 minutes wheezing and laughing at themselves. And so, I get over there trying to help, naturally, because no one has air in their lungs. And so, as I'm running down the hill, I don't see the dirt board, which is by now sideways. And me, as a small child, running really fast, trips over it, flies, and lands in the pile of both of them. Oh, yeah, that's basically it.
I'm Bob. I have a son 7 years older than Mitch. I'm a cousin of the Jory family, and the compound there has been a haven for me over the years. I didn't get to see Mitch a whole lot, a few dinners with him and stuff, but the problems I had with my own son is like I felt I was pretty impatient with him. He did make a lot of poor choices and stuff, but I tell you, now I kind of look at things a little different, a little more forgiving about it, and just appreciate that he's around still, and for that reason, I'll always remember Mitch for changing my perspective.
I debated on whether to tell this, and I didn't know how appropriate it would be, or how funny or sad or what this was, but I'm going to tell it anyway because Mitch is poking me. So, I get really pissy in the winter.
That's evil at Matt.
Evil at Matt. And so, I always, around May, go searching for the warm weather. And you know those San Diego commercials they have on TV where little girls kissing the whale and everybody's surfing? So I decide to plan a vacation to the sunshine for all the kids' birthdays. You know, all of them are in April and May. So we rent this van, one of those great big like kidnapper vans, the white ones, and we pack in it the kids and the cousins, all of my kids, and Mitch and Jory Lynn. We take Auntie Chrissy and my poor mother. And I get this beachfront cabin in San Diego. And we get in this van and we start driving. So of course when you're on the way to vacation, it's very exciting. Everybody's singing the dumb little songs and we're laughing and joking and stopping for lunch. We get to San Diego and it was 58 degrees and rainy. And the kids who were just excited, you know, to stay at a hotel and be away, decide that they're going to swim anyway. And they're going to go down to the beach anyway. So all of them, Mitch included, they're blue, you know, they're swimming. And as my sister and my mom and I are sitting in the hotel room, I'm like, you know, I'm really sorry. This is, you know, supposed to be 5 or 6 days or something crazy. So we decide that we're going to go back north because as we're watching TV, Grass Valley is 84 degrees. So we knew we wanted to be on the ocean. We're just going to drive north. And so we get in the van, and I'm thinking it's halfway back. And I've got a horrible sense of direction and no sense of how long things take. So we decided to drive up the coast towards Santa Cruz because it was a little bit better weather. Hours and hours it took on these windy, awful roads. And so we're getting grouchy again, the evil Aunt Nat. But this time it was really Chrissy. She was grouchy and snapping at everybody. We could not find a restaurant. We didn't have a hotel to go to. We just thought we'd get one when we got there. And so it's dark, and we're just biting each other's heads off. Nobody's having any fun, and poor Mitch is sitting in the back of the van like, oh God, I can't even joke my way out of this. It was just a bad space. So we finally find this hotel right on the beach, and we decided to go to seafood for dinner that night. And it was late, and we were the last customers in there. And we got this food, and it was kind of, you know, mediocre, which is not a word you want when you're ordering seafood. And there were a lot of us. We could only find one room, and luckily we brought sleeping bags. So we all get hunkered down in this hotel room, and Mitch looks up at me, and he said, you know, Aunt Nat, I really don't feel very good.
We're going to interrupt you. We had Mitch found mac and cheese at the restaurant.
At the seafood restaurant. He did have mac and cheese. And so he says, Aunt Nat, I really, really don't feel good. And I was like, you know what, Mitch? Just go to sleep. Nobody wants to hear it. You know, if you just go to sleep, you'll feel fine. And I was snapping at him, and it was just an ugly day. And he goes, no, Aunt Nat, I'm not kidding you. I really don't feel good. And I was like, I don't care. And so he throws up inside of his own sleeping bag. And he's in it still. But there's no vomit on him. He just kind of did one of these. And then he climbs out of his sleeping bag and he bunches it up like this and he goes, so Uncle Dave, I'm not sure what to do. And he's standing there, you know, in his shorts, and he's holding his sleeping bag shut. And so my husband opens the sliding glass door, which is on the beach, and hurls the sleeping bag off the balcony onto the beach. And then we spent the rest of the evening laughing and wondering, you know, if somebody's walking on the beach at night and they're cold, and they're like, oh, look, the sleeping bag. So anyway, it immediately both improved his stomach as well as our moods. And I can see all my kids that were there just totally reminiscing and laughing about the story. So that was Mitch. You know, he could take something like puking in his own sleeping bag and make fun of it and be fun with it. And then the funniest part is all the way driving home, Monica was going, oh, no, don't throw it away, we'll wash it. And I was like, we are not driving 8 hours in a van with a sleeping bag full of Mitchell vomit. So sorry. So anyway, we did throw it away, and we did buy her a new one, I think. Did you ever buy one? No, you never did. Oh, I owe her a sleeping bag. We love you, Mitchell.
Thanks for forgetting me. Totally. I'm like, what the? So it would have made it more obvious for you to give it to me because I was standing up really noticeable.
Okay, so if anybody else has any really funny stories of Mitchell, I know, especially this side of the room and all of you teenagers, I'm positive that you have some really great stories. Somebody else write them down on your cards.
I have a better story that sucks.
This sucks when it's so funny though.
I'll give you $20. Yeah, Ryan, you know it. They should just pass the mic. Get the mic.
Yeah, just go grab the mic.
Yeah, get the mic. Get the mic.
Look what you did. Look what you did. Nailed it. Where are we going?
How
are we going? Okay, I have a story to tell about Mitch. I was coming home from Reno with my mom on a Saturday, and Mitch and I were set to hang out. He was gonna come over to my house, and my mom and I were running really late. He was supposed to get there at around 3, and I never told him that we were gonna get late because my phone was dead and I didn't have service like the entire way home. And then I got home expecting Mitch to just like not be there, like he was gonna leave or something. And I get home and I hear him call my name, and I was like, "There's no way that's Mitch," because I got home at like 7, and he got there at about 2:30. And I walk upstairs and it's Mitch, and he's like, "Where have you been?" And I walk in my room and I see him. He had brought a lazy boy into my room from a different room. He had his feet propped up. There was like 4 or 5 empty soda cans on the ground, like 2 plates of food that he had eaten from, and his feet were just propped up, and he was in his underwear. and that's about it. That's Mitch. All right, Kyle's going now.
Don't expect me to talk.
Come on, guys.
Hi, I'm Brittany. I met Mitch through my best friend Rebecca, and when I first heard about Mitch, it was kind of like this. Oh my God, guess what? And that's just Rebecca for you. And I was like, okay, this is after fall break, and so I'm like, I really don't care. But okay, what? And she goes, so I've been talking to this Mitch guy, right? And she's telling me all about him. And so for a solid year, I heard every day, so guess what Mitch did? Or you won't believe what I did with Mitch. You won't believe what Mitch said. Oh my God, he did this. And so for every day, for an entire year, it was a new story about Mitch. And I can only be so thankful for his family, for the way that he lit up my best friend's life, and the way that he touched her in special ways. And he...
Mitch passed away, I was on a break and I called my best friend Christian about the freshman game, and he had told me, and I couldn't stay at work, so my mom came and picked me up, and so I turned on the radio, and this song came on that reminded me of Mitch, and she could tell because I just started crying even more when it came on. She tried changing it, and I was like, no, I want you to leave it. Like, he played this song. And so I'm actually going to sing that song right now, so. Alright, so a lot of you guys heard the song See You Again from that movie. Well, this is the song. This just doesn't have the rap, but this is a different version of it. It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. Why'd you have to leave so soon? Why'd you have to go? Why'd you have to leave me when I needed you the most? 'Cause I don't really know how to tell you without feeling much worse. I know you're in a better place, but it's always gonna hurt. Carry on, give me all the strength I need to carry on. It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. So let the light guide your way. Yeah. Hold every memory as it goes. And every road you take will always seek to hold our way. It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. Love you, Mitch.
on? Okay, I'm hiding in the corner so most of you guys can't see me. My name's Uncle Steph, and to describe how I fit in this family, if you guys ever seen the Vacation movie, Uncle Eddie, that's me. I got 3 stories. Let's see if I can get through at least one of them. To elaborate a little bit on how I am, Dave and I took a couple of kids on a charter camp out. And we had this great idea to get a ice chest full of yoo-hoos, zingers, ho-hos, ding-dongs, and feed the kids. I can't remember whose class it was, so I'm sure I'll hear about it afterwards. But, you remember that? Oh yeah. I forgot about that part. So the funny thing was, these kids were so hyper, they were still going until 6 in the morning, and I snuck out and left Dave there, so he got to deal with it. But this community is great. These teachers are fabulous. The sports, the athletics up here is just wonderful. But I got a story to tell you. Which one is going to tell? My wife says Mitchie was about 5, and we do family get-togethers all the time, every holiday, everything. And I had this idea, instead of taking these plastic eggs and putting toys and candy in it, that I would hollow out real eggs and stick money in there. I put dollar bills, 5s, 10s, even a couple 20s. And I figured out I'm going to cover the hole by melting brown chocolate and cover the hole. And I even went to white chocolate in the tip of the brown to make it look really, really realistic. So everybody's out there, they're hiding all these Easter eggs, and I go around and I'm dropping one next to the colored eggs, and we let the kids go. And you can see out of the corner of your eye that they get to it and they and just keep going looking for real eggs. So I grabbed Mitchie. I said, Mitch, there's an egg right there. And he looks at me and goes, Uncle Steph, there's poo on it. And I go, Mitch, you never know what's inside these eggs, you know? And he's looking at me, he's like, no, you know, and his eyes are going for something else. And he starts taking off, and I grab his arm. I'm like, Mitch, you gotta check it out. And he's pulling away, and I'm pulling harder. I'm like, Mitch, you gotta check it out. So he's pulling, he's got his leg up against me. And I reach down, grab the egg, and crunch it. I put it in front of him, and he looks at it, and the only way I could describe it is like a honey badger on a rock star. I mean, he was going deep in. The plastic eggs are flying out. He's got eggs with poo on it all in his basket. Ended up with like $75 or something. Let's see. I'm also the uncle that doesn't mind having all the cousins over, nieces, nephews. That tends to put me sleeping on the couch, but I get all these kids there, and it's like a kid's Las Vegas, man. They can do whatever they want, just have fun. So one night, I fill them full of chocolate. They finally fall asleep about 6 in the morning. Wake up about 6:20, and they're good to go. So they all I fix them breakfast, and I did like chocolate pancakes and chocolate milk. And they all take off. They all go out and play Army all the time. And Mitch is still there eating. Well, in the garage is a brand new quad that I got. Never got to take it out yet. 4-wheel drive. Just beautiful. Haven't got to play with it. I'm thinking once Mitch goes, I could get out there and just tear up my property. There's a thing about redneck physics that comes into play on this story. And Mitch knew all about it. So I started up in the garage and I just cut down and I got this pond in the middle of our yard that's dried out, about a 5-foot bank, 20-degree angle. The guy who sold me this quad said it could climb 20-degree angles. So it had independent locking, it had 4-wheel drive, everything. So I'm down in the ditch, and Mitch walks around the top of the ditch, right, looking down at me. And he goes, Uncle Steph, what are you gonna do? I said, I'm gonna climb out. He's looking, no, that's not gonna work, Uncle Steph. So said, no, the salesman told me it will. All I gotta do is lean forward and fully throttle it. And Mitch is like, Uncle Steph, it's not gonna work. I said, no, it will. So I get on that thing and lay into it, and the tire kicks out. Huge rock on the side of the bank. Redneck physics. Slow motion from here on out. And this thing's coming back, and I'm looking. And I'm looking at Mitch, looking for a facial expression like I'm getting close to the ground, and here comes the impact, but doesn't give it to me. So he's just sitting there, his mouth's not open or nothing, and all of a sudden I hit the ground, and I'm expecting him to laugh or anything, and he just hits his head and he goes, I told you, Uncle Steph, I told you it wouldn't work. I said, yeah, you did. I said, this is a story that we're going to learn to keep from our parents, right? What do you mean? I go, this is something that just happened at Uncle Steph's house, and we just keep it quiet from here on out. I was like, okay, Uncle Steph. Did he ever tell you, Monica?
Yeah.
Well, thank you, guys.
Denise just said, you've got a lot of them, I know. I'm Lisa, I was Mitch's 6th grade teacher, and Jory Lynn's, and a bunch of the kids in here. But I also got the privilege to take kids to New York, DC trip. And I think it was my second one, Mitch went with me. And I think there were 2 boys and 7 girls. And I gave them all lectures on how to get through security and what to bring, what not to bring. I made all the kids take carry-on. I checked my own bags, but the kids had to take carry-on so that, we didn't lose anything, lose anyone, and they all had to have, less than 3 ounces. Everybody gets through security in Sacramento except for Mitch. I turn around and they're going through his bag. I said, oh God, we're not even gonna make it out of the state. He had a full water bottle in his backpack. So we got through that. He got the lecture. It didn't happen again. We did DC first, and then we took a bus ride to New York. And we went with a couple other small schools because we didn't have very many people. So they put small schools together, and there was a school from Sparks with us. There was a girl that Mitch particularly liked, which was fine, getting the kids to mingle and stuff. And we got about an hour in Times Square. And they told us, okay, you can go off and do things in Times Square. We're eating dinner, like 6 o'clock. So Mitch wanted to go with the girl from the other school. So I talked to their teacher, and he said, yeah. I said, okay, you got him, so I'll meet you back here, at dinner. And, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes later, I get a phone call. They've lost Mitch and the girl. And all I could think of was, I am not going back to California without Mitch. I am not telling Monica I lost her son in Times Square. I didn't know what to do, how to find him. His cell phone was dead, so was the girls. We all retraced our steps. All the girls on the trip that were with us were, they were all looking for him. I was gonna figure out how to put on the Jumbotron, Mitch Adams, get back here now. Maybe 20 minutes later, I got a phone call that he had arrived, but there's 2 TGI Fridays in Times Square, if anybody wants to know. They went to the wrong one first, which is how we ended up losing him for a little bit. He went there, and then they had listened and found the correct one and went to it. I was so relieved. Of course, I lectured him first about how his safety is, my number one concern. Your parents entrusted your safety to me. I can't lose you again. So then I cried and I hugged him, and the look on his face was like, oh dear God, she's crying. We did not lose him again. Those girls would not let him out of their sight again. So I still hadn't told Monica. We get back on the plane, we get back to Sacramento. I was gonna tell her as soon as I handed him over, but the other moms already knew and had already told her before I got to her. I said, here he is. So good to get him back, and I thank you for trusting me with your children.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeremy. I was Mitch's breakdance teacher. I'm sorry, it's really hard. I had a lot of memories with him. He was a little kid. He came into class and he was so determined. And he just had a natural talent. I'd never seen that before. He could just flow and he got moves right away. And he just kept training, kept coming back. And we did a lot of shows together. If you watch some of the videos, I didn't even realize how many shows we've done. But I mean, I remember a few times he wanted to learn how to head spin. And we were both kind of training it at the same time, and he came into class and he was like, "Hey man, I'm getting much better at this." I was like, "All right, let's see it." And he started spinning, and I was like, "Oh man, he's better than me." But he was super talented, and just I loved doing shows with him. We had a lot of great memories. One of my favorite was actually when he did a head spin. I think it's on this video when he did it, and he just went out there and he just busted it out. And I gave him a little Red Bull that night too. He said, "Don't tell my mom." All right, but anyways, I miss him dearly, and
Thank you guys all so very, very much for sharing. I hope you stay and mingle. The people in this room are people who really mean a lot to Mitch. And so if you want to stay and visit, you're very, very welcome to do that. And if somebody else thinks of any other stories, there's still a mic up there, so you can go up there and just tap on it. And you could.
No, it's okay. She's trying to force me to do that.
I love it. I have it in writing. But from Mitch, I love you guys. Thank you very, very much.
Okay, so to add on to Lisa's story, because I'm the big sister and I'm super cool, right? And he tells me everything. That was his first kiss when he got lost. I just had to show that part because I was sitting over here and I distinctly remember that text message. Jory Lynn! I kissed a girl with red hair.
Anybody else wants to speak? The mic's up there.
tu la parla miezza americano, quando si fa l'amore sotto la luna, come te viene in capo di I love you, papà l'americano. Capire va bene, se tu la parla miezza americano, quando si fa l'amore sotto la luna, come te viene in capo di I love you, papà l'americano.
No send that break. I'll break it fast.